think, act, and prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Money Level Show where we think, act, and prosper. So today I want to talk to you about just how many hustles or side hustles do I have. So I've been doing this channel since October and talking about finance and how I got into this arena. So I actually got into this arena. I started off teaching Dave Ramsey back in 2017, 18, and then I stopped for a while because I really felt like that wasn't working for me. It worked for me for a little while. I did get some basic, concepts of, budgeting or paying off debt, consumer debt, not debt that actually comes from assets, but paying off consumer debt and things like that. And then I ended up dialing back and just going back into just spending money on goods and services that I really didn't need, and I built a lot more debt. So when the pandemic first started, I picked up the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and this book was sitting on my bookshelf for about 3 years and I never touched it. And so the crazy part is that my old landlord had recommended that I read the book. So she was actually trying to give me education as I was her tenant, because I told her that I was into investing and I really liked it and I liked how money worked and understanding it. Even though I only had it understanding from Dave Ramsey's point of view, I told her that, and then she told me to get the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I bought the book. It was sitting on my bookshelf for about 3 years. So here's the book right here. I read this book when the pandemic first started, and it was about March of last year, and I really dove in and I really began to understand how money worked, or how to get your money working for you, or how to escape the rat race, how to build wealth. And this was very important for me because I really wanted to understand how this worked. I knew that when COVID hit, I was in a bad space financially. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't have an emergency fund. I had debt, and things like that. And I was just like, okay, what's gonna happen with my job? Like, now I'm working full time from home. Is this gonna last? What do I need to do? So the first thing I did was I already had a side hustle of doing videography and photography on the side. So I started picking up more jobs of shooting music videos and shooting some photography and interviews and things like that. And then I was able to bring a little bit of extra money in. Then I started a side hustle called Instacart. So this is where I would shop groceries for customers. And then even during the pandemic, I was able to deliver to a lot of customers, and I really seen how essential it was. Especially one time I delivered to a lady who had an amputated leg and she couldn't get out. And I was just like, okay, this is a service that is really needed. So I felt that, I was able to be an essential worker and then also be able to make some side cash. Then I started watching George Gamon's channel. I started watching Robert Kiyosaki's channel, and I began to understand more things about money. So I began to put money into the stock market when the stock market was going down. The stock market hit the low last year. I started buying stocks. I didn't know what I was buying. I just knew that, hey, this stock was expensive. Now it's cheap. I'm just buying it. And I made some money doing that. However, I didn't really understand how to evaluate a company. I didn't understand what the companies were about, how to read a balance sheet or anything like that. I just threw money in. I then began to learn about gold and silver. So I started buying gold and silver. It was before it hit its all-time high, so I didn't buy at the top. However, I was able to experience some of those gains. However, with premiums and stuff, like, I think I'm still behind in my premiums or whatnot. So then I started doing DoorDash. This was another side hustle that I was able to pick up. I was able to go to certain stores or certain restaurants and pick up things for customers and go deliver it to customers. Just like Instacart, except you're less likely going to be in a grocery store shopping actual groceries and doing the person's grocery shopping for the month or for the week or whatnot. So DoorDash was very helpful for me to earn extra cash as well. However, I didn't like DoorDash as much as Instacart, but that's neither here or there. I just felt like my preference was more for the Instacart side. So then during the pandemic, I got my real estate license. I started my real estate classes and started like, okay, how am I gonna do this? I want to build wealth. You can sell a home and get paid quite a bit of money. how am I going to do this? And so I got into real estate class, and then I finished that, got my license, and right now I'm currently working with some clients for that. So that was another hustle that I decided to pick up. Another thing I picked up was I was able to start my own business, my own consulting business, and start contracts with different organizations. And so with this, I was able to do some consulting, do some relationship building, and use some of my skills that I already had from my professional career as working in the social service field and becoming a juvenile probation officer. That's what I do now. And then I was able to use some of those skills and some of those trainings and certifications that I've gained and start my own business and be able to contract out with other companies and use my professional experience in that way. So those are just a few of the hustles that I was able to pick up. It was very helpful for me, and it was really like life-changing because I was able to save and invest more than $10,000 over the past year. And I didn't have anything going into the pandemic. I was up to my neck in debt. I didn't have an emergency fund or anything. And so now I'm able to move more freely and be able to feel better about my financial future and my financial health and for my family. And so this was very important for me. So then on top of that, you know, for me and my family, we were able to receive stimulus checks and be able to use that responsibly. Okay, how are we using this? A lot of times we invested it. Sometimes we would, or most of the time we would pay down some debts and things of that nature and put money into a cash value insurance plan that's actually going to get you an interest of about 2%, 3%, depends on which plan you're with, so that our money isn't just sitting in the bank savings plan and not collecting hardly anything. So we were able to put money in there and be able to build money and build our emergency fund. And so those are some things I was able to do. Another thing I was able to do was to refinance my house. I did a recent vlog where I said I sold some of my Bitcoin to refinance my house. And it turns out that when I did that, I'm saving over $70,000 for the life of the loan. I actually dropped my mortgage payment down $300 a month. So I'm saving $300 a month. I was able to receive some money back as well. And this was very helpful because it was like, okay, now that I've increased my income by doing more side hustles, now I have cheaper payments and I'm paying down some of these debts, and I paid off a few credit cards. So that is kind of just like some of my financial journey, just to be authentic with you all, and how I have been moving in this space and how am I applying the things that I'm learning. Because we have to increase our incomes if we're going to really try to build wealth and things like that. We have to increase our incomes, we have to invest, and we have to put our money in assets and not consume a lot of things that we don't need. To be honest, it was really sad when I went to the mall to pick up my son and the mall was just packed, you know, because I believe it was due to people having their stimulus checks. And it's not my position to judge people on how they spend their money. However, if you're wanting to financial freedom, you have to change your habits. You have to change the things that you do, and so that you can build that financial freedom for you and your family. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. And I just want to thank you all for joining the Money Level Show today. And we're going to think, act, and prosper as we go forward. And all right, peace.